What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I am coming at you guys with my next Archetype video, and it is, of course, with the lovely Sky Strikers. So, the Sky Strikers are a series of monsters that are actually in costume. They are based on what the pun is technically a sky pilot with the ability to wield a katana. I don't know what lolly they dug this up from, but I am pretty sure whatever lolly series it is, Konami wanted to make sure the fanboys loved it. This is still one of the popular decks right now in the metagame. That it does top a lot of events. It still has a lot of good kickback, and it literally is a one-woman army. Most of all the monsters in this archetype are actually female, and they're based on this lovely lady and her transformation sequences into some pretty heavy mechs. The name Sky Striker is actually just a derivative for the OCG name, which is the Battle Fightless. And no, the Katana Fightless. I forget half the time. This is why I'm glad we have the internet, so I can actually look up what the term of the other name is. Okay, so their name is the Blade Fighter-esque, which is also set to a pun about the katana wielding pilot. Yeah, I know the OCG is weird. I have to actually include this stuff half the time, but it is called the Flashing Katana Lady in its pun because she is a lady flashing her giant killer katana. The great thing about this archetype is that it is set up into its own strikes. We have the Sky Strikers, which are pretty much the flashy fighters. Then we have the Sky Striker Aces, which are the Fatal Katana Ladies. I'm just reading all the puns for you guys to set this up. Then we have the Sky Striker Mechs, which are pretty much all of the aircraft and machines. We have the mechanisms, which are pretty much just, the stuff that helps enhance them or set them up for the new armor. And then we have the Mobilize, which is pretty much to get ready and go. This is pretty much all weird puns and setups for pretty much pilots and sky fighters and all of that crazy shenanigans that once you put a lolly in it, the boys go crazy. And girls. So, without further ado, I guess we just really need to talk about them. So, right here I have all the monsters, and the main monster herself in the middle is the Sky Striker Ace Raye. She's a level 4 Dark Attribute Warrior type monster with 1500 attack and defense. So her effect is you contribute this monster to summon one Sky Striker Ace monster in your extra deck to the field. While this card is in your graveyard, if a Sky Striker Ace Link monster is either destroyed by battle or leaves the field via your opponent's card effect, you can still summon this card from your graveyard. You're going to use each effect of Sky Striker Ace Raye once per turn. So this monster is featured in a ton of sets. She is part of the cover monsters for Dark Saviors here in the TCG. She's in the Battles of Legends Heroes Revenge as a copy in her highest rating, which is Secret, as well as a Secret in the Mega Teams. Yeah, they printed her 3 times. Why? I don't know, but they printed her 3 times. She has one of the most unique abilities in that she can gain access to her Link monster various forms. This is kind of one of the things that most effect monsters don't have access to. They have to actually link summon and go into their various forms, but she can do it via her effect. She has some really great setups to her. A lot of decks appreciate her, and there's even decks that splash the Sky Striker engine just because of how powerful it is. So if you want this monster, of course, there were a list of the stats of where she was in. So now we move on to the next monsters, and that is Sky Striker Ace Kagari and Sky Striker Ace Shizuku. So Sky Striker Ace Shizuku, she is water attribute Link monster. She points top right. She's a machine type Link monster. She needs one non-water Sky Striker Ace monster for her Link summon. She has 1500 attack, Link 1. And her ability is monsters your opponent controls lose 100 attack and defense for each spell card in your graveyard. When this card is special summoned, you can target one Sky Striker spell card in your deck and add it to your hand, whose name is different from the ones in your graveyard. You can only special summon one Skyshaker Ace Shizuku once per turn. Then we have Skyshaker Ace Kagari, Fire Attribute Link 1, 1500 attack, Machine Type Link Monster. Needs one non-fire Skyshaker Ace monster for her Link summon. And her effect is when this card is special summoned, you can target one Skyshaker Ace Skyshaker spell in your graveyard and add it to your hand. This card gains 100 attack and defense for each spell card in your graveyard. You can only summon one Skyshaker Ace Kagari once per turn. So these two lovely ladies were featured, of course, in the original set of Dark Saviors. They're the only ones to be released within Dark Saviors. The other two came later. Kagari is fire, while Shizuku is water. She's pointing in the she is in the left-headed direction, while Shizuku is in the right. This is kind of a similar basis to a lot of the combinations of monsters in certain attributes that share different positions, sets, and elements. Kind of just like the elemental heroes, because if you know elemental hero Nova Master and elemental hero Absolute Zero, point in different directions. They have different stances. They're both different attributes. Absolute Zero is water, Nova Master is fire, and kind of try to share some similar motifs, but not really. However, these two share a similar motif just in a different way. Shizuku will decrease attack and defense points, while Kagari increases. She was a big enough powerhouse that Kagari ended up getting herself limited here in the TCG. I do believe she is also limited in the OCG just because of the ability to add Skyshaker spells to your hand and then be able to be a massive attacking unit. While Shizuku has her ability of adding cards from the adding cards from the deck to the hand, as long as the card isn't the same as the ones in the graveyard, which does help in a lot of times if you don't get specific spells. The 100 attack and defense loss is not too bad itself. It's just you really have to fill the graveyard up for you to really feel any of the impact. So that is, of course, the two monsters that start off the extra deck for the Skyshaker Aces. Now we move on to the next two, and that's Skyshaker Ace Kina and Skyshaker Ace Hayate. Hayate is Link 1, Wind Attribute, 1500 attack, Machine Type Monster. She needs one non-Wind Skyshaker Ace monster for her summon. While you only summon one Skyshaker Ace Hayate once per turn. When this card attacks your opponent directly, this card can attack your opponent directly. When this card inflicts damage to your opponent via battle, you can send one Skyshaker spell card from your deck to the grave. Then you have Skyshaker Ace Kina. Kina's ability is that she's also a Link 1 Earth attribute machine type monster. She points bottom left, and her ability is her material is one non-Earth Skyshaker Ace monster. Her ability is that when this card is special summon, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. That card cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. Each time you activate a Skyshaker spell card or the effect, you gain 100 life points immediately after this card resolves. You only summon one Skyshaker Kina per turn. So Kina, unlike Hayate, doesn't really do much in terms of does a great deal of support for a battle by stunning the monster to the end of your opponent's next turn. Hayate inflicts battle damage to your opponent, while Kina gives you life points every time a spell card is immediately activated and resolves. You can get some good combinations between Kina and Shizuku if possible. You can also get some good combinations, of course, with a lot of the other featured monsters that could easily be in any Link deck. But honestly, I do love the whole setup here. We got a Earth, we got a Wind, we got a Fire, and a Water. I mean, literally all we're missing is Dark and Light, and we would have a complete set. You can find Skyshaker Ace Hayate there in Cybernetic Horizon, while you can find Kina in Savage Striker. The funny thing about it is both of these monsters actually do appear in the Megatins, so you can get them in the new Parallel Rare, or whatever rare they want to call it. Alright, so we move on from the monsters. Now we move on to all of the spells for this archetype. First off is Skyshaker Ace Mobilize Engaged. You control the gimmick behind a lot of the spell cards, especially the standalones like the normals and the regular spells, normals and the quick play spells, and even the quick spell, is that you have to have no monsters in your main monster zone in order for them to be activated, and for them to, well, in order for them to be activated, they can still resolve as normal. Mobilizing Gage's ability is normal ability is that when you activate this card, add one striker spell, add one striker card from your deck to your hand. Its other ability is that if you control 3 or more spells engraved, you can draw 1 card. Next up is Sky Striker Mech Widow Anchor. This card's ability is that if you control no monsters in your main monster zone, its effect is that you can target 1 monster on the field and negate its effects. If you have 3 or more spells in the graveyard, you can activate the effect to take control of that monster. Then we have Striker Maneuver Afterburner. Target 1 monster your opponent controls, face up monster on the field, destroy it. And if you have 3 or more spells in the graveyard, you can destroy 1 spell trap card on the field. Then we have Striker Maneuver Jamming Wave. Target 1 set card on the field and destroy it. If you have 3 or more spell cards in the graveyard, target 1 face-up monster on the field and destroy it. Target 1 monster on the field and destroy it. Next up is Striker Mech Eagle Boost. Target 1 monster on the face-up monster on the field. The targeted monster is unaffected by other card effects, except for its own, until the end of the turn. If you control 3 or more cards in your spell and charge zone, that monster is also immune to battle. Then we have Striker Mech Shark Cannon. Target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish it. If you have 3 or more spells in your grave, effect, special summon the targeted monster, but it cannot attack. Then we have Striker Mechamori Hercules Base. Target 3. You can equip this card to 1 monster. The equipped monster can attack twice during the battle phase, but inflicts half damage. You can only use inflicts half damage if you control. No. Oh no! It can make a second. It destroys the monster and makes a second attack, but this card cannot. But the monster equipped cannot attack directly. If this card is sent to the graveyard while you control 3 or more cards in the graveyard, you can add up to 3 Sky Striker cards in your grave and add them to your deck. You're going to use the effect of Sky Striker Machinary Hercules Base once per turn. Then we have Striker Airspace Area 0. Its effects read: you can target one other card you control as the top 3 cards in your deck, and if you do, you can add 1 excavated Striker card from to your hand. The rest are shuffled into the deck. Then destroy the card on the field. If this card in your field cell zone is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can set summon 1 Striker Ace monster from your deck to the field. You can use each effect of Striker Airspace Area 0 once per turn. Next up is Striker Mechanized Multi-Roll. Once per turn, you can target one other card you control, and then send it to the graveyard. Also, for the rest of the turn, after this card's effect resolves, your opponent cannot activate cards in response to your spell cards you activate for the rest of the turn. If this card leaves the field, even if this card leaves the field, then once per turn, during the end phase, you can target any number of Striker spell cards with a different name in your graveyard. Up to number of spells you played this turn, and set those cards face down. If you activate those cards, they are removed. They are banished after being used. You use the effect of multi-roll once per turn. Then we have Striker Ace, Striker Mech Hornet Drones. You control no monsters. You can special summon 1 Striker token, level 1, 0 attack, 0 defense, Warrior Dark Attribute. If you control 3 or more cards in your graveyard, this monster's attack and defense. This token's attack and defense become 1500. There is 1 Striker spell card I don't have. Unfortunately, I just don't own it. So a lot of the gimmicks behind these cards is, of course, that they need the 3 or more spell cards in the graveyard. You cannot have any monsters in your main monster zone. So do be careful of that. But pretty much, we have ultimate draw power, and we have negation and control in spell cards. Both of these cards are very generic, and they do not have a once per turn attached to them. The next two to talk is Afterburner and Jamming Wave, which are pretty much polar opposites of each other. Jamming Wave destroys set spell cards, while Afterburner destroys face-up monsters, and then they can destroy. For Jamming Wave, they can destroy monsters, while Afterburner destroys spells and traps. They do feature, well, we already said that they all feature Raye on it. Next, we have Eagle Boost, and we have Shark Cannon. Shark Cannon is pretty much a DD Crow with an additional monster reborn, but the monster cannot attack. Eagle Booster protects your monsters from being destroyed in by card effect, but can also protect them from being destroyed in battle if you control 3 or more cards in your graveyard. Spell cards in your graveyard. Next up is the amazing Hornet Base, and this card is pretty much just a double attacker for the equipped monster, and then gives the Deep Pot of Avarice effect when destroyed and sent to the graveyard by card effects. Area 0 is the field spell. It's not one of those quaint field spells, but it does get a lot done. Excavating the top cards of your deck to add a special card to your hand, and being able to give some advantage. And then the only 2 cards in the spells for the Strike Striker cards, Hornet Drones and Multi-Roll, just simply based off of how amazing these cards are, not only in Sky Strikers, but in addition to other card archetypes, as either walls, deck draws to help pop other things, to get other cards, or get the effects of these other cards. Especially Hornet Drone, because Hornet Drone was free tokens. Then Multi-Roll, because you can get back the Hornet Drones and then make more tokens if needed. So that is pretty much it for all of the cards here in the archetype of the Sky Strikers. I do hope you guys enjoy my Sky Striker video, and I hope you guys do enjoy all of the content that this channel features. I just want to say before I go, thank you to everyone for all of your kind support. It is very, very, very appreciated. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell when you guys want to be informed of when I do some more uploads. Thanks everybody for watching. I will catch you guys next time. HBJ signing out.